line where Andrew Fletcher moves to right wing, Phil Eden to right centre, Andy Mason to left centre and Andy Wilson to left wing. Steve Eller comes in for Tony Zeller at standoff. Paul Malinder takes the number 10 shirt from John Glancy. John Glancy moves back into the second row to take over from Tracy Lazenby, and Steve Knocker Norton comes in the second row in place of Ian Douglas. So 8 changes, 4 of them positional, as Wakefield Trinity look to get back on the winning track after a long losing stretch. The Wakefield Trinity lineup then is as follows. James Luluai is at fullback, Andrew Fletcher wears number 2, Phil Eden is 3, Andy Mason 4 and Andy Wilson 5. Steve Eller, the new captain, taking over from Mark Graham, wears number 6 and Mark Conway is at 7. Johnny Thompson, the beneficiary, makes a welcome return to the prop forward position, and Billy Conway is at 9. Paul Malinder also back in the fold at number 10. John Glancy, Steve Norton and Nigel Bell make up the back 3, with the substitutes being Andy Sygrove and Ian Sheldon. Featherstone Rovers have been going very well of late, winning 4 of the last 5 matches. They've got Chris Bibb at fullback, and then they've got Paul Newlove, Paul Lyman, Alan Banks and Ian Smales in the 3-quarter line. Graham Stedman and Derek Fox are the halfbacks. Veteran Jeff Gratian wears number 8. Trevor Clark, the New Zealander, is at 9. Another New Zealander, Glenn Bell, is at 10. John Bastian wears 11. Paul Hughes is 12 and Peter Smith is 13. The substitutes David Sykes and Carl Harrison. The referee this afternoon, Steve Cross from Hull, and a big crowd as expected here at Post Office Road for this local derby between 2 old rivals, Featherstone Rovers and Wakefield Trinity. Rovers, of course, who completed a league double in Division 2 over Wakefield Trinity exactly a year ago. Trinity out for revenge this afternoon and needing the points desperately. So it's Andy Fletcher then fielding the kick-off, taken in no-nonsense fashion there by the Featherstone Rovers front 3. Glenn Bell getting involved in that tackle. Now it's Paul Malinder for Trinity. Inside their own 25, of course, Billy Conway making a quick dash from acting halfback. That's good play by him. Stopped by the opposite number there, Trevor Clark, the former Leeds and Maori tourist. Toured with the Maori team to Great Britain in 1983. That's a good kick by Wakefield Trinity, put in play back towards the Featherstone Rovers quarter and giving them a good start to this contest. As we've said, Trinity on the wrong end of a long stretch without success. "11 league matches without victory at the moment." Derek Fox then gets the ball from the scrum, gets it out to Graham Stedman. The Trinity defence up quickly, and James Luluai making the tackle on the former York player there, Graham Stedman. So it's Rovers, as we said, in good form of late, winning at Hull 14-4, and now it's John Bastian in possession. Rovers and Trinity, of course, played this classic Premiership semi-final on this ground last May. Peter Smith, the veteran, gets a pass away there to Chris Bibb. Good half stop there by Billy Conway, and then the full tackle coming in from the beneficiary prop forward John Thompson there, wearing the headband number 8. Rovers then still in possession. Trevor Clark, the ball back to Stedman. Up goes the kick, or it's a grubber kick towards the left flank. In fact, Andy Wilson feels that, and a good sidestep and good play by Andy Wilson there, beating Ian Smales. Mason, in possession now, tackled by 3 Rovers defenders. Good start to this game from Trinity. Steve Norton then, short pass to Paul Malinder, and Paul back in the fold after a long absence. Big kick downfield makes the Rovers winger Paul Newlove have to turn and chase. Paul, of course, the son of John Newlove, who skippered Featherstone Rovers to Wembley, success in 1973, and again back to Wembley where they lost to Warrington in 74. So from good footballing stock, Paul Newlove. Derek Fox, short pass to Glenn Bell for Rovers, the New Zealander. Trevor Clark, Fox, inside ball there to John Bastian again. Good tackle by Johnny Thompson. Point to prove this afternoon, Johnny, after feeling that he was worth a chance long before he got one at Widnes. Now it's Peter Smith. Trinity defending ever so well in his opening stages. John Glancy with that tackle that time, and now it's Stedman being forced into a hurried kick, perhaps downfield, where Andy Wilson is. Takes the ball and brings the ball up towards the 25 out of Wakefield Trinity's quarter, tackled by Derek Fox. Steve Norton then, short pass to Steve Ella, switching the point of attack to Mark Conway, onto James Luluai, and Featherstone Rovers, like Wakefield Trinity, spotting well in these opening stages. Mark Conway to Andy Mason, lost his grip on the football there and losing possession and giving Featherstone Rovers a chance inside Wakefield Trinity's half. Offside against the visitors, Wakefield Trinity, and a chance here then for Graham Steadman perhaps to put Featherstone Rovers on the board, but no, they're going to kick for touch and keep the pressure on Wakefield Trinity's line. Featherstone Rovers, and good break there by the second row forward Paul Hughes, almost to the Wakefield Trinity line, but a good stop by James Luluai, saving the situation, but still pressure on the line here. Trevor Clark, short pass that time to Glenn Bell, and Trinity defending very well. Derek Fox, short pass to Peter Smith, the Rovers captain, of course, been at the club since 1972, the longest serving player at Post Office Road, and can't play the ball. Now it's Trevor Clark to Derek Fox, a dummy and a shimmy, and he goes back towards the open side. But Trinity, they've got to win this match this afternoon, and they're tackling just as though it is a cup tie. Peter Smith, a long pass there, and an interception by Andy Fletcher from the pass of John Bastian, knocked down unfortunately for Trinity, and Steve Cross, the referee from Hull, gives the knock on and the scrum down. But a good crowd here, a good contingent too from Wakefield for this Boxing Day fixture. Always a popular contest between these two local rivals. And an injury, Trinity contingent, Paul Mallinder particularly waving on the physio. Can't quite see who the injured party is, but Lee Robinson, the physiotherapist, onto the field to attend. First of two meetings between these two sides over the holiday period, this one. Boxing Day fixture, of course, here today, and then on New Year's Day, Featherstone Rovers travel to Bellevue for the return. Last season, of course, they won them both, 17-14 and then 21-16. So, Trinity out for revenge. They also lost, of course, 20 points to 16 here in the Premiership semi-final. Rovers possession again. Graham Steadman to Banks, back to Steadman, but a good tackle coming in that time from Phil Eden. Still inside Trinity's quarter, and Rovers doing much of the early attacking. Peter Smith, but good defence again. Trevor Clark, the acting half-back, short pass to Jeff Grayson, a switch of play to Derek Fox, to Steadman, out it comes to Paul Hughes. Steve Eller and Paul Mallinder into the tackle quickly though. And still Rovers keeping the pressure on. They might think about the drop kick just to get points on the board. Paul Lyman there going from acting half-back. Switch to centre from his normal loose forward position in recent weeks. Jeff Grayson, a run around with Derek Fox, and through the half gap goes. Derek Fox gets a pass out of the tackle there to Peter Smith, and now Rovers again some 2 yards short of the Wakefield Trinity line. A good stop by Fletcher. Kick on there by Steadman from the play the ball. It rebounded and still Featherstone possession. It could be 6 more. Glenn Bell tackled. No, 6 said the referee. Said it wasn't a fair advantage, so the turnover, and Billy Conway plays it quickly to Paul Mallinder, and Mallinder drives the ball up there into that tackle from John Bastian, and a penalty against Bastian for that tackle, which was over robust and perhaps high, and Mr. Cross gives the penalty to Wakefield Trinity. Paul Mallinder there, you just saw him telling his colleagues to calm it down. They're still on level terms here, no points each after some 7-8 minutes of this contest. Steve Eller then with a kick for touch, and a good touch found by the Australian, the new captain of Wakefield Trinity. And Billy Conway with a tap penalty to Johnny Thompson, and Steve Norton took his eye off the ball, and possession lost on the first tackle. Always unprofessional, to say the least. First tackle, the ball goes back to the opposition, the feed to Rose, and here we are, Featherstone back in possession. And pressure again on Wakefield Trinity as Alan Banks goes through and gets a good inside pass there but Steve Ellis spotted the oncoming Chris Bibb. Steadman again trying the grubber kick through on only the second tackle, getting the fortunate rebound. A ricochet coming back to Chris Bibb. Now they play the ball to Trevor Clark, Derek Fox. There's the ball, Clark to Gratian, still going strong, almost 40 years of age. Smith to Fox, good football by Rovers. This is Derek Fox jinking through, the former Great Britain scrum half. Once, of course, sought by Trinity when he played junior football in Dewsbury, of course. Featherstone won the race for his signature in 1983. Rovers, of course, were the holders then, so they had the chance to lure him to Post Office Road. Steadman then with the high kick. Again, pressure on Wakefield Trinity fullback James Luluai, who takes the ball superbly under pressure. Many people undecided about James's best position these days. He was, of course, an international centre of the highest standing, but he's been switched to fullback and he's done a good job for Trinity. But he played many a game for New Zealand in the fullback position on tour in 1980 when he first came to this country. Johnny Thompson plays the ball to Norton when it comes to Glancy, and Rovers now having to defend with Paul Hughes. Billy Conway, acting half, gets it now to Mark Conway with a kick towards the Featherstone Rovers quarter, and it goes in first bounce. Great kick by Mark Conway. Last season's Wakefield Trinity Player of the Season. Had a bit of an in and out season so far this season, but happily he seems back to his former best. Certainly played well at Widnes last Wednesday when Trinity were beaten by 40 points to 12. Mark kicked a couple of goals in that game. But a penalty to Featherstone Rovers from the scrum. Very mild weather, of course, for the time of the year. Haven't had quite as mild a Christmas as this for a long time. Trevor Clark with a tap penalty comes short to Glenn Bell. He takes the ball and goes through that tackle there from Paul Malinder, but Steve Norton gets back, makes the tackle on the New Zealand prop forward, and now plays the ball. Derek Fox, short pass again to John Bastin. Very, very basic football from Featherstone at this stage. No frills. Trevor Clark to Graham Steadman, and Nigel Bell with the tackle. And obviously Trinity will be prepared to slow things down while the scoreline remains 0-0. This is Paul Hughes, he's dangerous, he played well here in the semi-final last season. Makes a good charge into the Wakefield Trinity quarter. A good stop as well by Andy Wilson, saving the situation. Fox on the blind side, it comes out to the Featherstone Rovers wingman Ian Smales. Trinity again forced to defend on their own line. It's Jeff Gratian trying to play the ball to Trevor Clark. Out it comes, but they've lost possession, Featherstone. And now it's Wakefield Trinity possession and a penalty given against Featherstone Rovers. That's once or twice that Featherstone have conceded position due to over robust tackling, and so Wakefield Trinity get the chance to again clear their lines with a big kick for touch. Billy Conway now with the tap penalty, comes short to Mark Conway, long pass there that time to Nigel Bell. He does well, goes through that first tackle from John Bastin, tackled eventually by Peter Smith, but plays the ball quickly. Steve Norton, the short ball to Johnny Thompson, eager and willing, he goes through there, that tackle from Bastin again, and tackled by Paul Hughes, but glances eager, he comes off that short pass from Norton, and Wakefield Trinity almost to the halfway line now, being penned almost exclusively inside their own half during these opening 12 minutes of this contest. Still 0-0, James Luluai in possession. Gets a good short pass there to Nigel Bell. Good football by Trinity, good backing up, and plenty of spirit out there. Inside the Rovers 25 now, and some 10 yards from the Featherstone line. The first real look that Trinity have had at the Featherstone Rovers line. Steve Norton then, the pass to Conway, Mark Conway to Steve Ella. Swivels, but a pass. Probably one or two players got in each other's way there, and James Luluai couldn't hold the pass from Steve Ella, and Featherstone Rovers breathe easily again and get possession back. inside their own 25. Trevor Clark, open side it comes, this time to Paul Lyman. As I say, a Yorkshire County back row forward, but he's been used by Peter Fox in the centre position this season. I don't think Paul Lyman's very happy there, but he doesn't have much say in the matter when Peter Fox is picking the side. Graham Steadman then, declining to kick for touch, taking the quick tap. Trevor Clark now to Paul Lyman. And Rovers trying to open out at every opportunity. Perhaps the field have got more pace wide out, but we shall see. As Ian Smales comes in from the right wing, weighing 5 but standing on the right wing. On the halfway line. Clark to Fox. Pass looked forward that time, the referee said it was legal. And Jeff Gratian now to Derek Fox. Out it comes to Steadman. Steadman jinking and swivelling and not fooling anybody really, because Steve Eller and Billy Conway were up on him quickly. Derek Fox now with the kick towards the touchline. He finds touch well. About 12 yards from the Wakefield Trinity line, so a chance again for Featherstone Rovers to try to get the first points on the board. Almost a quarter of an hour gone in this contest, and Trinity will be well pleased to have absorbed so much pressure on their line and yet still emerge on level terms. Mark Conway then gets possession from the scrum, comes open side, tackled by Steadman, plays the ball quickly to his captain Ellie. Now it's James Luluai coming into the line, trying to evade Peter Smith. These two of course were opponents in the 1983 Wembley final when Featherstone Rovers played Hull. Big kick downfield by Steve Eller, going to go dead, but it'll certainly force Featherstone Rovers back. Derek Fox then with a tap penalty, and again Glenn Bell, not the fastest man in the world, but he just takes it up and tackled 10 yards out of his own 25 by Johnny Thompson. Makes another good 10 yards there. The New Zealand forward plays the ball now to Derek Fox, thinks about the short run but passes to Bastian to the halfway line. Good tackle again from John Thompson, and Featherstone Rovers again trying to open out. Jeff Gratian looking for support, standing in the tackle, can't unload. Good tackle there from Billy Conway. Gratian to Fox, short pass this time to Peter Smith, out to Trevor Clark. Clark with the pass which is knocked on, and Steve Eller tried to kick on, the ball squirming from the grasp. Offside given against Featherstone Rovers there. And the penalty goes to Trinity. And so Steve Eller will kick for touch and put Trinity back on the attack here. No score. Billy Conway, short pass that time to Paul Malinder, the ex-Bradford Northern forward, eagerly going into that two-man tackle. Plays the ball to Mark Conway, short side it comes to Billy Conway, out to Mark Conway again to Glancy. Gets a good pass out of the tackle there to Andy Fletcher, and there's a bit of danger there for Featherstone Rovers. A good pass out of the tackle, doing the damage, but almost stretching the Featherstone defence. But Rovers get possession back and have to try and clear their lines. Here we are about 8 yards from the Featherstone Rovers line. Trevor Clark, short pass to Glenn Bell. Almost like twins, these two, always follow one another about. Trevor Clark again, the short pass to Peter Smith. And Smith gets the pass back to Glenn Bell. And Steve Norton in the tackle quickly. And Graham Steadman. Steadman not too happy. Plays the ball, it comes to Derek Fox. Now it's Jeff Gratian. But there's always a reception committee waiting for the former Bradford Northern and Leeds and Dewsbury forward. John Thompson again there, tackling his opposite number. Steadman then with the left-footed kick downfield. James Lulai forced to turn and chase, so too is Andy Fletcher, who fields the ball now. Fletcher tries to sidestep his man, but good tackle coming in from Paul Newlove. Plays the ball to Lulai, and Lulai some 10 yards from his own line. Plays it to Mark Conway. Short pass this time to Paul Mallinder. Mallinder comes forward, but still no score. 18 minutes gone. Steve Norton, Steve Eller, long pass, finds Andy Fletcher, dives to take the pass, but the referee spotted the fact that he just knocked on. And so Rovers now have a golden opportunity. They've got the feed and the head at this scrum inside Wakefield Trinity's quarter line, and they'll be looking for something to get them on the scoreboard. Derek Fox feeds the scrum, gets possession, brings into the line Graham Steadman. Back it comes to Derek Fox, and Nigel Bell with the tackle inside the Wakefield Trinity 25 again. Peter Smith, short, well actually it was a long pass to Alan Banks, and Banks went through the gap, but good tackling coming in that time from Andy Mason. Pressure on the Wakefield Trinity line again. Paul Lyman, 3-man tackle on him. Excellent defence by Trinity this. It must really encourage David Topless, as Peter Smith gets a long pass out to Steadman. Inside it comes to Chris Bibb. Chris Bibb, one of the best young fullbacks in the game. 2 yards from the Wakefield Trinity line there. A great tackle stopping a certain try from Billy Conway. And Peter Smith offside against Wakefield Trinity. Well, that was a slide rule decision really, but it gives Graham Steadman an opportunity here to kick for goal and put the first points on the scoreboard. 20 minutes into this contest, the first quarter is over, and there's no points on the scoreboard at the moment. But it's been mostly Featherstone Rovers, and in that sense I suppose Wakefield Trinity can consider a job well done, because they've really done well to keep Rovers away from the try line. So that penalty for offside will give Graham Steadman the chance to put first points on the board. Steadman then, left-footed round the corner style, is pulled that one wide, and so Featherstone Rovers fans with a groan, because the scoreline remains scoreless. Drop out then on Wakefield Trinity 25. Steve Eller will take it. Missed the game at Norton Park, was deputised by Tony Zeller, but back in the side for this absolutely crucial fixture this afternoon. It's Paul Newlove in possession for Featherstone Rovers inside their own 25, tackled by Nigel Bell and Billy Conway, two of the hardest working members of the Wakefield Trinity pack. Rovers again through Peter Smith, inside ball to Paul Lyman. Good cover again by the two prop forwards. Derek Fox, one pass to Jeff Grayson, basketball pass there to Trevor Clark. This is good stuff by Rovers. Graham Steadman, always a dangerous man. A good tackle by John Glancy. Again Rovers come forward, down the middle, through John Bastian. Good tackle from Billy Conway. Plays the ball now to Derek Fox. Jeff Grayson, short pass to Derek Fox again. 10 yards inside the Wakefield Trinity half, and Jeff Grayson not happy about something, neither is Paul Mallinder, and there could be trouble here if the referee doesn't step in. Well, he's pulled, I think, Paul Mallinder, or is it Billy Conway? Because, well, I couldn't quite see what the offence was, because Jeff Grayson was the one who was pushing and shoving, but the referee has given the penalty to the home side, and Graham Steadman, having missed with one attempt at goal, will try to be successful with this one. You can see the distance, it's about 40 yards straight in front of the uprights. Steadman, who's kicked well this season, taking over of course from the veteran Steve Quinn, who announced his retirement just before Christmas. Steve Quinn, one of the best servants in Featherstone Rovers history, kicked the goals of course, which won the Challenge Cup at Wembley almost 6 years ago. Steadman then again with his second attempt of the match, and he's pulled that one between the uprights this time. So Graham Steadman gives Featherstone Rovers the lead at 2-0 after 23 minutes of this contest. Suppose it had to come, but Wakefield Trinity have still kept the try line intact. And so Trinity with the kick-off here through Mark Conway. I'm sure they'll be delighted to go in just 2-0 down at half-time because they've played against the slope and they've absorbed much Featherstone Rovers pressure. But the question is, can they hold out for the remaining 17 minutes of this half? Kick-off then by Mark Conway. Fielded behind his own goal line there by Graham Steadman. And 3, 4, 5 Wakefield Trinity defenders up quickly to make the tackle, keep Rovers pinned inside their own quarter line. John Bastian again, eager and willing, but few frills about his game. Tackled by Steve Norton. Short pass this time to John Bastian. Featherstone Rovers leading by 2 points to 0. Trevor Clark. Short pass to Peter Smith, and a loose pass there out towards the wingman Paul Newlove, who's really made a tremendous entry into First Division football for Rovers this season. Alan Banks now in possession. But this is good defensive play by Wakefield Trinity, keeping Rovers penned inside their own 25, keeping the pressure on, forcing Steadman to kick the ball clear. Fielded by Andy Wilson. Good positional play by the wingman there. A good run too. Gets a good inside pass away to Andy Mason. And Mason eluding the cover. Pass by Ontoella, kicked on. And possession lost. But that was great football by Wakefield Trinity. Started by the winger Andy Wilson. Got a good inside pass there to his centre, Andy Mason. He kept the ball alive with a pass which Steve Eller dribbled on with his foot, but just couldn't control it. And the best chance probably that Wakefield Trinity have had in this contest so far, but proving beyond all doubt that we're well in this contest. Trevor Clark then, the short pass again to Derek Fox. These Rovers half-backs and the hooker seem to work in harmony together. Clark again with the long pass to Steadman, who'll pump the ball downfield towards the Wakefield Trinity line. Will it drift dead, or will I have to run it? No. Yes, he will. The ball would not go dead, and so he fielded it and brings it almost 10 yards from the Wakefield Trinity line. Plays the ball to Andy Wilson. He's having a good game and evaded the first tackler there. Stopped that time by Peter Smith. Nigel Bell to Johnny Thompson. Johnny will be extremely pleased to be back in the fold after some good games in the Lions football. Kick downfield by Mark Conway, fielded on the full this time by Chris Bibb. And Bibb, bringing the ball almost to the halfway line, just to the halfway line, in fact, where he's tackled by John Glancy. Alan Banks with the long pass that time to Steadman, jinking and weaving, the former York player, gets the pass out of the tackle to Paul Hughes. But Andy Mason, copybook tackle there around the ankles. Paul Lyman into his stride, good stop that time by Billy Conway. Clark out to Gratian, on to Fox. Steadman coming back inside, gets the pass away. Good football by Rovers. Chris Bibb now in possession, gets another good pass to Peter Smith, and Smith couldn't release the ball there with Trevor Clark by his side. Plays the ball this time to Clark, and it's Gratian coming on the open side, giving an inside pass to Paul Hughes, but it was telegraphed, and Wakefield Trinity's defence was there and spotting well. Still 2-0 to Featherstone Rovers, 27 minutes into this contest. A kick by Derek Fox, it's drifting dead. That will allow Wakefield Trinity to tap the ball on their own 25. They'll be very happy with this. Almost coming up to half-time and just trailing by that penalty goal conceded against Graham Steadman for offside. Sorry, it was for a foul. The first penalty he missed was for offside, and it was then a foul by Billy Conway, but Rovers leading by that penalty 2 points to 0, and a forward pass there pulling Wakefield Trinity back. Defence is sound, but Trinity have got to, I think, in the second half with the slope, find some attacking imagination. I'm sure they can do that with guys like Steve Eller and Mark Conway and Andy Mason and James Lulway on the side, but Rovers in possession. with Stedman to Chris Bibb, into the line, beats the first tackler. Andy Mason comes across, makes a crucial tackle there from behind as Chris Bibb was looking for his support. And now it's Stedman, gets a pass away to Smith. Good football this by Rovers, they're stretching Trinity here. John Bastian, again good cover tackle coming in from Steve Norton. Rovers in possession through Alan Banks. Stedman, the dummy, didn't fool anybody, certainly not Phil Eden. And Phil Eden makes the tackle on the standoff half. Derek Fox to Glenn Bell. Johnny Thompson knocks him to the ground, but the ball's released, and it's Peter Smith to Chris Bibb. And Bibb's always looked dangerous when he's coming to the line. And Wakefield Trinity now forced to, again, tackle beneath the uprights. Clark to Jeff Gratian, swivels and gets the pass out one-handed to Paul Hughes. Featherstone Rovers looking for the try here, which would possibly break Wakefield Trinity. Peter Smith, Derek Fox with the grubber kick, but it wasn't a very good one. And in fact, it's lost possession and Wakefield Trinity get the ball back. Andy Wilson, he's had a good first half for Wakefield Trinity. Always looked dangerous when he's had possession. Billy Conway to Paul Malinder. Back to Billy Conway. Steve Norton in, short pass to John Glancy. Glancy looking for support, gets a good pass away to Johnny Thompson. He did well. Turned and charged into a three-man tackle there. Steve Norton working the acting half-back position. There he is again. Switching the play and then getting the pass out to James Luluai. John Glancy now does well. Ooh, Andy Mason on his inside, and the referee Steve Cross getting in the way, having to give the scrum down because it touched him. But he really was in Andy Mason's road there, because Andy was coming through off that inside pass well. It looked dangerous for a moment. It's Mark Conway with the feed then at this scrum, and they get possession Trinity, and it's Steve Ella to Phil Eden onto Andy Mason. This is better, but Andy Fletcher can't hold the ball and he's lost it. And Featherstone retrieve it, but just when Trinity opening out well on the right hand side there on the first tackle, possession is lost. Now it's Chris Bibb. He's made ground every time he's entered the line for Featherstone. And it's Rovers in possession again through Graham Stedman, tackled by Mark Conway. Trevor Clark now to Derek Fox, a lofted pass there to Paul Hughes, looking to get the pass back to his second row colleague John Bastian. He does well and gets a good pass away to Paul Lyman. The tackler is Billy Conway as ever. Ian Smales to Fox. That pass was definitely forward there to Glenn Bell, not given. The pass again goes to Trevor Clark. This is Peter Smith. Good striding run by the veteran loose forward. Scored countless tries for Featherstone Rovers. How they could do with one from him now. Derek Fox to Stedman. These two have worked well together all afternoon. Good tackle there from John Glancy. Paul Malinder there as well. Jeff Gratian, he's going to put the kick up on the fifth tackle. James Luluai takes the ball. Under pressure. And it's Andy Wilson again, bringing the ball clear. Billy Conway, short pass to Johnny Thompson. Bumps off the first tackler, which was Paul Hughes. Now it's Malinder coming forward. Turns, looking for the pass to Billy Conway. Couldn't get the pass out of the tackle. Steve Norton's there acting half-back again. Make a quick 5 yards and get a pass out of the tackle to Steve Ella. He's better from Trinity. Mark Conway now. Long pass to Andy Fletcher. And Fletcher's tackled by his opposite number. But Trinity now looking much more the livelier side as they open out. Kick by Mark Conway, forcing Rovers back towards their own try line. Fielded by Chris Bibb. And Bibb coming forward. Evades a couple of defenders and then does well there. Makes about 30 yards. He's injured in the tackle. 32 minutes of this contest gone. Featherstone Rovers leading Wakefield Trinity by that single penalty goal from Graham Stedman. 2 points to 0. But an injury now to Chris Bibb. Plays the ball now to Trevor Clark. On to Jeff Gratian, to Fox. Long pass to Stedman. Again, Paul Hughes in the line. Peter Smith. This is better from Rovers. Paul Lyman getting his winger away. That's good running there by Ian Smales. ducked underneath that high tackle there from Mark Conway. Good stop as well by John Glancy, but I think the referee's spotted Mark Conway's very overzealous high tackle, and in fact he's going to send him to the sin bin. Yep, Mark Conway is off the field for 10 minutes because although he didn't connect, he almost caught the Rovers attacker there with a high tackle, so they decided to kick for touch and try and stretch the 12 men. 7 minutes to go then to half time. So can the 12 Trinity defenders hold on until the interval now without Mark Conway? Can Rovers break Trinity at last? Glenn Bell in possession. I don't think they'll do it like that. Trevor Clark to Derek Fox to Jeff Gratian, and I think there's an obstruction. As the touch judge spotted something. Glenn Bell's involved, so too I think is John Glancy. Getting a bit heated out there at the moment with Mark Conway going off, and penalty to Trinity. Or perhaps Glenn Bell was trying to get some sort of retribution. But whatever, the touch judge just spotted it, and Trinity have got the penalty. Steve Eller then finding touch, and Billy Conway with the tap penalty to Paul Malinder. Up to the halfway line goes Paul. And again Wakefield Trinity losing possession of the first tackle. This has got to be ironed out because you just can't afford to squander possession in this first division. Graham Steadman, he's the type who can make the most of gifts. And there he goes again, good run by Steadman. 13 against 12. Can Trinity hold out? 5 minutes to go to half time. They trail Featherstone Rovers by 2 points to 0. Trevor Clark to Derek Fox, on to Peter Smith. Derek Fox again, short pass to Bell. Great tackle that time by John Glancy. Really copybook stuff there. Derek Fox to Jeff Gratian. Gratian through the gap looking for the support. Good tackle again from Nigel Bell. Fifth tackle. Must be a kick on here from Rovers. Surely offside. Well, referee waves play on. And Derek Fox lost the ball over the defence, and that will be a tap penalty for Trinity on their own 25. They'll be quite content to play out time, I'm sure. Billy Conway, short pass to John Glancy, and Glancy comes storming through, tackled by Trevor Clark. Plays the ball now to Billy Conway, on to Johnny Thompson. Johnny Thompson takes the ball up. Ooh, the pass looked forward from Billy Conway to Paul Malinder, and Mr. Cross didn't quite see it, so he's even the score. Billy Conway now to Steve Norton. Norton swivels, gets the pass away to John Glancy. Trinity again looking the livelier side when they get the ball and keep hold of the football. Billy Conway, Steve Norton, chip kick over the top of the defence. And Paul Newlove's there. Good tackle again from Phil Eden, keeping Rovers inside their own half. Here comes the big second row forward there, Paul Hughes. Tackle by John Thompson. Plays the ball now to Alan Banks, to Peter Smith, Derek Fox, Steadman, Lyman. Bumps off Andy Wilson and gets the pass away there to Ian Smails. And Steadman's on the inside for the pass, but again good cover from John Glancy and Steve Eller for Wakefield Trinity. 3 minutes to the break plus injury time. Derek Fox in possession. Peter Smith now. That pass must have been forward. Touched by Phil Eden and then picked up by Andy Fletcher, but the referee, I don't know why he's given there. I think he's given the knock on. But Trinity will be delighted with this, I'm sure. 2 points to 0 the trail. Coming up to half time, they've had most of the pressure on their line. They've tackled well, and they've had to do so for the last 6 or 7 minutes with just 12 men. So it's Featherstone Rovers now with a wingman receiving attention. Rovers feed. Derek Fox then puts the ball in, gets possession for Featherstone. Graham Steadman. Into the line again comes Chris Bibb, but James Lulai's there. Into the line to also make the tackle. Steadman now for Rovers. Turns, gets the pass away. And that's Paul Hughes. Well tackled again by Eden. Rovers might even think about a drop goal just to try and get further points on the board, because they must be disappointed with this. A loose pass there from John Bastian. Eden followed it, but he couldn't retrieve it, I don't think, and the referee, yes, puts the knock on, and that will be another scrum down. But it all takes up time, and Trinity, I'm sure, will be delighted with this. David Topless will be well pleased that they've continued the defensive effort, which restricted Widnes to just a few points, 10 points in the second half at Mountain Park. Derek Fox now to Steadman. Steadman, though, he's the danger man, gets the pass back to Derek Fox, and Rovers, these two halfbacks hold the key for them this afternoon. If Trinity can subdue those, Steadman and Fox will have every chance of picking up this first win in 11 league matches. As Paul Lyman comes forward again for Rovers, though, he's dangerous, trying to get a pass away to Ian Smales. Good tackle from Steve Ella. And now Billy Conway on the 25. Ian Smales in possession. The pass lofted out to Derek Fox this time. It comes to Peter Smith. Good football by Rovers. Banks the interception by Andy Fletcher. He couldn't hold the ball, but my word, he did save a try there with knocking down that pass. Steadman. Inside comes Paul Newlove. This is dangerous for Rovers. Paul Newlove stretching for the line. He can't get the ball over. Held up over the line there. Good decision by Mr. Cross, who was right on the spot. But Paul Newlove almost got to the line, but well held up in that tackle. And again, the human dynamo Billy Conway was there to make the tackle, along with a couple of his fellow forwards. But that was crucial, because a try there would really have changed the course of this game. Right on half time, could have changed the scoreline from 2-0 to 8-0, and that would have made Wakefield Trinity have a mountain to climb in the second half. Nigel Bell then, the standing scrum half in the absence of Mark Conway, takes possession, plays the ball now to Steve Ella. Steve Ella comes from acting halfback. There'll be nothing fancy from Wakefield Trinity now. They'll just want the half-time hooter as John Thompson takes possession, gives it to Steve Norton. He'll use his experience to just jink and weave and get the pass away this time to Nigel Bell. And Bell, a loose pass that time, picked up by Paul Malinder. Paul Malinder does well and brings the ball clear. And there is in fact the half-time hooter, and Rovers lead Wakefield Trinity by 2 points to 0. Just a penalty goal from Graham Steadman separating these two sides, but David Topless will be a happy man after that great defending by Wakefield Trinity. 2 points to 0 then at the interval. Steve Ella then leads his 12 men out onto the field for the second half. Still minus Mark Conway for the first 3 or 4 minutes of this second half. Of course, he's still got time to do in the sin bin. But Wakefield Trinity now with the slope in their favour, and certainly the spirit is high enough to come back from this 2-0 half-time deficit to retrieve this situation, I'm sure. They would have been well pleased to hold Featherstone Rovers, who had much of the territorial advantage in that first half, and certainly the crucial moment came just on the half-time hooter there when Paul Newlove made that tremendous run from the left flank and was held up over the line by Billy Conway. So Trinity then 2 points to 0 in arrears. Steve Ella with the kick-off, but I'm sure that they feel they can retrieve this situation. As I say, 11 league matches ago since Wakefield Trinity won a league match. They defeated Hull at the Boulevard way back on September the 11th. Here we are on Boxing Day looking for that fourth league victory, and a good start for Trinity in the second half. Rovers not being able to hold possession near their own try line, and so Wakefield Trinity straight away on the attack. They'll also have the feed at this scrum. No, they won't. Derek Fox, in fact, gets possession for Rovers. Good tackle coming in there from Nigel Bell. And Rovers again, penned inside their own 25. Graham Steadman. The tackling is good from Trinity. The defended up quickly, Andy Mason and Steve Ella. But the referee will give a scrum there. Featherstone thought it was a penalty, but the referee felt it was legal. Rovers have got a substitute on here. Carl Harrison has replaced Glenn Bell at half-time, but Nigel Bell in fact has possession now for Trinity. Gives it to Steve Ella, turning the point of attack towards the left. Andy Mason into his stride. Good tackle coming in there from Paul Lyman, but Trinity now some 15 yards from the Featherstone Rovers line with Nigel Bell in possession. Can Trinity take the lead here? Billy Conway to Steve Ella. A dummy and a jink and a weave, and Steve Ella is through for the try for Trinity. Look at the delight on the faces of those Wakefield Trinity fans behind the Post Office Road end. A great try for Steve Ella, and Wakefield Trinity less than 2 minutes into the second half, and they've taken the lead here at Post Office Road. Try from Steve Ella, a vital try indeed from the skipper, and that makes it 4 points to 2, and Ella has got a great chance here to make it 6. That's his 7th try of the season, I think, for Wakefield Trinity, but it's his first for a long time. Certainly his first in the league since they lost to Salford back in September. And now he has the chance to improve that and kick the goal and make it 6 points to 2, but that should certainly have deflated Featherstone Rovers, who certainly weren't expecting the 12 men to come out and take the lead. Ella ever so sure and painstaking about this kick. There it is, straight between the uprights. So Featherstone Rovers 2, Wakefield Trinity 6 now, and everything for Wakefield Trinity to play for, as Mark Conway, as you saw, comes back onto the field, having served his 10 minutes in the sin bin. And 6 points to 2 in his side's favour, with everything to play for. Kick-off then by Featherstone Rovers, fielded by Andy Wilson for Trinity, inside his own 25. The tackle coming in from substitute Carl Harrison for Rovers. Billy Conway in possession, through to Paul Mallinder. Mallinder takes the ball past the 25, tackled again by Featherstone Rovers. But Trinity 6-2 to the good, and looking to improve on that as Steve Ella kicks the ball downfield, keeping play inside Featherstone Rovers quarter line. Fielded there by Ian Smale for Rovers. Good tackle again, good chasing and tackling from Billy Conway. The secret of a good kick, they say, is in the chase, and Billy Conway, first man there, making the effective tackle. Johnny Thompson now making the tackle on Featherstone Rovers centre Paul Lyman. Trevor Clark to Gratian, and perhaps some of these Featherstone forwards are feeling the pinch, because it's been an exhausting contest. Much of it's been played down the middle, and Rovers perhaps have the younger set of forwards, who knows. Steve Norton and Jeff Gratian perhaps cancelling one another out. Phil Eden getting the pass out of the tackle. Now it's Derek Fox, and again it comes to Jeff Gratian. Gratian's tackled by Steve Norton. He loses possession. The ball kicked back. Play on, says the referee. Graham Steadman jinking and weaving, but a great tackle again from Nigel Bell. Also assistance coming in there from Steve Ella. Bibb for Rovers, back to Derek Fox. The kick again downfield. It's going to go dead. That'll suit Wakefield Trinity. 4 minutes into the second half, they've taken the lead. 6 points to 2 they lead. John Thompson in possession, taking that pass from Billy Conway. The tackles coming in thick and fast from Jeff Gratian and Trevor Clark for Rovers. Billy Conway to the open side, to Steve Ella, on to Paul Mallinder. The two prop forwards for Wakefield Trinity, John Thompson and Paul Mallinder, have done a towering job so far. Can they keep it up? Billy Conway from acting half makes a good 10-15 yards to the halfway line, through the tackle there of Carl Harrison, the substitute for Rovers. Nigel Bell now to Steve Norton, to Ella, on to James Luluai, sidestepping his way through, trying to get to the halfway line. Play just inside Trinity half. Mark Conway to the open side to Steve Ella. The chip kick over the top, fielded by Featherstone Rovers. It was worth the try, but Steve lost possession, and Graham Steadman retrieved it for Rovers. Now it's Alan Banks in possession, tackled by Mark Conway. He'll be fresh, of course, through having 10 minutes in the sin bin. Derek Fox in possession now. Long pass to Chris Bibb. Chris Bibb makes a good break for Rovers. Good tackle around the ankles there from Nigel Bell. Half stopped him and allowed John Glancy to come in and complete the tackle for Trinity. Paul Lyman in possession for Rovers. Trailing Trinity by 6 points to 2, having led 2 points to 0 at the interval. Derek Fox, the short pass to Carl Harrison. Again, good spotting and good defending by Trinity. Steve Norton, Nigel Bell. Not a good play the ball there. Slowed Featherstone down. Steadman puts up the bomb. There's defence and cover there from Wakefield Trinity. That's a chance for Featherstone Rovers. Is it a try, Alan Banks? The try is being given. The ball lost from a high kick, and Alan Banks was there, Johnny, on the spot to get the try. And so Featherstone Rovers back on equal terms here at 6 points all. Some 6-7 minutes into the second half, and that will be a demoralising blow for Trinity, having led 6-2. It seemed such an innocuous kick there from Featherstone Rovers. There seemed no danger at all for Trinity, but in fact Alan Banks got the try for Rovers, and they're now back on level terms at 6 points each. A chance here for Graham Steadman to give Featherstone Rovers an 8 points to 6 lead. Left-footed again, round the corner style, and the kick in fact is straight between the posts, so Featherstone Rovers leading Trinity by 8 points to 6. And as you can see, one or two of the Wakefield Trinity players heads down, but I don't think that will last for long, because the spirit has been good this afternoon. It's continued from the second half at Norton Park, and they've done an excellent job in the first half, but to have taken the lead in the manner they did and then to have lost it like that must certainly have deflated one or two of the players. But Mark Conway with a kick-off downfield towards Featherstone Rovers try line, fielded by Paul Lyman. Tackle by John Glancy, but Peter Smith's into the line now for Rovers. Good tackling again by Wakefield Trinity, but they've got to keep Rovers down inside their own half if they can. Gratian, short pass there to John Bastian. Derek Fox on the short side this time to Peter Smith. Inside ball there to Paul Lyman. Good football by Rovers. Chris Bibb just shrugging through that tackle there from John Thompson. Trevor Clark to Fox. On to Gratian. Short pass again to John Bastian. And Rovers certainly been ruffled into errors here by Trinity's tremendous tackling. Graham Steadman jinking and weaving. Thinks about the kick. Puts the high kick downfield, in fact, where he's going to be taken by James Luluai. In fact, it's bobbling away from him, but he's picked it up this time, and he's got the pass out of the tackle to Andy Fletcher. That's a good pass by James Luluai, and good support play by Fletcher, who's tackled that time by Smales. Nigel Bell in possession, tackled again by John Bastian for Rovers. Billy Conway to Ella, on to Paul Mallender. Steadman was ready for Billy Conway that time. Billy again though, tries it on, gets another good 10 yards, pass out of the tackle to Steve Norton, on to John Glancy. This is good running by the former Sheffield forward. Does very well. Tackled by Peter Smith, but plays the ball now to Norton. Steve Ella going on the short side. He's got numbers out there in Andy Wilson and Mark Conway. This is Andy Wilson coming inside, a kick over the top of the defence. And a good bounce, a kick on. This is a chance for Andy Wilson. He's got the try. Yes, he's just beaten Chris Bibb for the touchdown. That's a good try from Andy Wilson. And Wakefield Trinity again have gone into the lead, having lost it at 8-6. They're now back in front at 10-8. And that was an excellent opportunist try from Andy Wilson. Certainly one of the most improved, or one of the finds of the rugby league season. He's certainly proved a bargain buy for Wakefield Trinity. And that try alone is absolutely priceless. 10 points to 8 for Wakefield Trinity, and a chance here to make it 12 for Steve Ella. It's a difficult kick, mind you. Steve, who has taken the goal kicking duties off Mark Conway, who kicked well at Widnes. He kicked Tremendous goal off the touchline there at Norton Park, Mark. But Steve obviously feels confident enough to take the duties again, having given them up when Kevin Harkin got back into the side. 10 minutes then into the second half, and Wakefield Trinity back in front, 10 points to 8. Ella's put the kick up. It's not a bad one, but it's just to the left of the upright, so the scoreline remains Featherstone 8, Wakefield Trinity 10. And so Rovers kick off. Derek Fox. Oh, what a bounce. Completely fooled both the Trinity defenders there, Andy Wilson and Nigel Bell. It was an absolutely cruel bounce. And it gives Featherstone a foothold inside the Trinity half, because Trinity have to drop out here, of course. 10 points to 8 the scoreline. Steve Ella with the drop kick. It goes about 25 yards towards the touchline. It's fielded by Paul Lyman for Featherstone Rovers. They'll want to hit back quickly again as they did last time. John Bastian. Plays the ball now to Peter Smith. Out it comes to Jeff Gratian. On to Derek Fox. Fox through into the 25 where he's tackled by Billy Conway. Steadman, short pass to Gratian. Gratian trying to unload, but he just couldn't manage to release his arms. Tackled there by his former Leeds teammate Mark Conway, and actually penalised there. I think John Thompson penalised. He said that Gratian was butting. Referee in fact has penalised John, and a good chance here for Steadman to put Rovers back on level terms. So Graham Steadman taking his time over this kick. Left-footed, he's pulled it wide, unfortunately for Featherstone. Well, the groans of the Featherstone fans said it all there, but that was a bad miss by Graham Steadman. 10 points to 8 it remains. Trinity with a drop kick out, then fielded by Chris Bibb for Rovers. Good sidestep. He's played well, Chris Bibb, this afternoon. Every time he's touched the ball, he's been dangerous. Carl Harrison now, the former Bramley prop forward. Trevor Clark to Derek Fox. Out it comes to Peter Smith. Again, Steadman wide. Gets it to Paul Lyman, but the cover's there from John Glancy and Steve Norton. Good covering by the second row forwards. Everything to play for here in this second half. 15 minutes gone. Jeff Gratian in possession for Rovers. Gets the pass away to Carl Harrison. Just managed to hold on. Gratian again. A basketball pass that time to Paul Newlove. Cover coming in across from the right centre. Phil Eden, who I think has injured himself in the tackle. But Rovers still inside the Trinity 25. Gratian with the high kick. James Luluai's there. Takes it well. And that will be a drop kick out. He didn't take it beneath his dead ball line. He was pushed back there, and that will be a drop kick. Not surprisingly, Trinity will try and slow things down. Phil Eden, as you can see, is having to come off the field, and he'll be replaced by Andy Sidegrove. As Rovers have possession again here. John Glancy's done well on defence this afternoon. There he is again, tackling Graham Steadman. Every Trinity player's done the job, actually. Jeff Gratian now to Derek Fox to Peter Smith. 10 points to 8 still to Trinity. Derek Fox now to Alan Banks. Banks swiveling, gets the pass away to Chris Bibb. And again, John Glancy makes an effective tackle. And Chris Bibb lost possession. That will be a scrum down, a feed for Trinity. As I say, 20 points to 16 it was here in the Premiership semi-final last season, 17-14 in the league to Rovers. So Trinity with revenge very much on their minds, as well as the 2 points this afternoon. Andy Sygrove now to Andy Mason, plays the ball, hands off a man, gets the pass away to Paul Mallinder. Paul Mallinder into his stride. This is a good break by the prop forward, but he looked to try and pass and there was no one there, and the ball's gone to ground. Featherstone Rovers will be grateful for that. Peter Smith, long pass to Alan Banks, slips on the greasy turf and goes down there in that tackle on John Glancy. Peter Smith to Derek Fox, short pass to Gratian. Paul Mallinder with a good tackle on the former Great Britain prop forward. Trevor Clark in possession, tackled by his opposite number Billy Conway. Derek Fox in possession, through to Jeff Gratian, twitching the point of attack, comes now to Paul Hughes. Paul Hughes is stopped by Nigel Bell. Some 16 minutes into the second half, still 10 points to 8 for Trinity as Derek Fox has possession. And again, good defence by Wakefield. Trinity forcing the turnover on the 6th tackle. John Glancy to Paul Mallinder. And Rovers going to do the defending now. Billy Conway, to John Thompson. Tries from Steve Eller and Andy Wilson. The difference between these sides at the moment, Mark Conway with an inside pass to John Glancy, but hit a brick wall there in the shape of Jeff Gratian and John Bastian. Billy Conway to the left to Mark Conway to Steve Eller, short pass to Leroy. Possession is lost, went backwards, said the referee, and it was retrieved by Andy Mason, but the referee said it was a knock on, and that will be a feed and a head for Featherstone Rovers at this scrum. Featherstone thought they were well clear of the relegation zone, will be dragged right back into the danger area if they lose today, and they lose on New Year's Day. Graham Steadman, he's the danger man, makes the break. A good tackle from Andy Sygrove, stopping the former York standoff half. Plays the ball to Paul Lyman. Lyman with a number 3 on his back, but trying to get into the action in his old back row position. Derek Fox to Peter Smith, inside ball to Ian Smales, the wingman. Trevor Clark to Fox, short pass to Gratian, good defending by Trinity again. Thompson and Bell, and the possession is lost and it's picked up by Nigel Bell. He'll charge the ball clear for Wakefield, who lead Featherstone Rovers here by 10 points to 8. Mark Conway with a long pass out to James Lulloy. Hands off the centre, Alan Banks comes back inside. Was trying to find Andy Mason with an inside pass, but the cover came across. He'll play the ball now to Mason, and Mason will give it to Ella. A long pass to Steve Norton. Norton doing well, gets the pass out of the tackle to Paul Mallinder. Mallinder's had a superb game back in the first team this afternoon. Plays the ball now to Mark Conway, out to Steve Ella. John Thompson, another one who's come from the Alliance team to do a great job for Trinity. And he's tackled that time by Gratian. Plays the ball to Billy Conway. Open side it comes to Steve Norton. Back to Billy Conway. Good football by Trinity. Inside ball to Mark Conway. And he lost his grip on it, unfortunately. But the pass was forward earlier. And so the referee awards the scrum down. Almost 20 minutes gone, almost to the hour mark. Mr. Cross from Hull, having words with John Thompson and Jeff Gratian. They had a running battle all afternoon, and there's still no one giving anything away as Featherstone Rovers get possession back through Trevor Clark, and it's Carl Harrison in possession. Tackle that time by the veteran secondary forward Steve Norton. Harrison plays the ball. He wants to play the ball. The referee says that Steve Norton won't allow him to, and gives the penalty to Rovers, who trail Wakefield Trinity by 10 points to 8. And Steadman will kick for touch. Exactly an hour gone in this contest. 20 minutes the difference now between Wakefield Trinity and their first league victory in 11 matches since way back on September the 11th, when Andy Kelly's late last gasp interception try won them the points at the Boulevard. The fortunes of Trinity and Hull have gone in different directions since. But Featherstone now in possession. Derek Fox gets the ball the short side this time to Carl Harrison. Tackle by Billy Conway. Plays the ball to Derek Fox, who's had a very subdued afternoon. Inside pass again to Peter Smith, but it's very, very basic stuff from Featherstone. They've got to try and move the ball, I think, wider to stretch Wakefield Trinity. We've got a man down injured. Physiotherapist on the field again. And Carl Harrison and Featherstone takes the opportunity to borrow the Trinity spray.
Clancy doesn't go down that often, does he?
Well, it certainly appears to be a bad one. I think it could be John Glancy, the injured party. He's took a bad knock in the tackle. John has had a tremendous game this afternoon for Trinity. Done an absolute enormous amount of tackling. Stretcher being called for, sadly.
Substitution for Wakefield Trinity. Number 15 in Sheldon replaces number 11 John Glancy.
Well, it's taken an absolute age to bring a stretcher on. It's a good job it's nothing it's nothing that could be getting worse, because really they've taken absolute. They must have been looking to find one.
Wrong way round.
John Glancy definitely, and he's looking in a very groggy state at the moment. It was a sad way to see a player leave the field, of course. So John Glancy will come off the field, and Ian Sheldon, Trinity's perennial substitute, will no doubt replace him. A round of applause for John Glancy, because he's had a tremendous bearing on this contest so far. But back to football, and Featherstone Rovers with the play the ball inside the Trinity 25. And Peter Smith at last gets us underway. Trevor Clark to Derek Fox, on to Jeff Grayson. Remains to be seen whether the Trinity concentration will have gone there in that delay. Derek Fox, well, actually Featherstone have lost possession, and Trinity will be absolutely delighted to get that ball back. And we've got another man injured now.
Is that Joe Thompson?
So 10 points to 8 in Trinity's favour. They've got possession back, of course. The man injured, I think, is John Thompson. Looks a bit shaken, but he's going to stay on the field and play the ball to Nigel Bell, who lost possession in the first tackle. So again, the emphasis switches to defence for Wakefield Trinity, and Carl Harrison has possession. 10 yards now from the Wakefield Trinity line. Featherstone Rovers trailing Trinity by 10 points to 8. Jeff Grayson in possession. Takes the ball hard and strong at the Trinity defence. Tackle coming in there from Nigel Bell. Gresham plays the ball to Clark. It comes out to Peter Smith. Open side to Graham Steadman, a dummy, but he doesn't get very far. He's tackled by Ian Sheldon. Paul Lyman. And John Thompson almost immediately back in the thick of the action. And there he is again, making a stop on Paul Hughes. Carl Harrison. Well, Featherstone Rovers have not prepared to throw caution to the wind at all, are they? Straight down the middle stuff, and it's bringing them no reward whatsoever. And Trinity have got possession through Nigel Bell. Can they hold it for 6 tackles and take play back into the Featherstone half? Nigel Bell to Conway on to Paul Malinder. I think the next try might be the winner, as Ian Sheldon has possession for Trinity. Tackle there by Carl Harrison. Steve Eller with the kick downfield. Fielded by Ian Smells for Featherstone. Poor Derek Fox. He's not been the Derek Fox, I don't think, that we have come to expect down the years this afternoon. Very, very quiet. Clark, short side it comes to Steadman, back inside again to Paul Hughes. This is a good break by the second row forward. Just couldn't release the ball to supporting Trevor Clark there. Steadman again. I think he overdoes the solo bit actually, but there's been a penalty given against Featherstone Rovers. I don't know the obstruction to play the ball, but certainly Featherstone Rovers have conceded the penalty, and that will give Trinity a chance to kick for touch and put pressure back on the Rovers line. One or two of the Trinity forwards there looking as though they're feeling the pinch too now. Been a very physical confrontation, this one. Steve Ellis slowing things down. Well, Nigel Bell received attention. Finally we can get on with the play. Ella finds touch. Trinity have the tap penalty. Billy Conway will take it, and Paul Malinder will take the ball up. High tackle there by Carl Harrison, and that's going to be penalised. In fact, it was could go to the sin bin here because Mark Conway went for a similar offence. We'll have a long stern word with him, Mr. Crossan. In fact, he has shown consistency at least, because he sent Carl Harrison to the sin bin for that high tackle. Not very happy, the ex-Bramley man, but Mr. Cross laid the law down early in the first half where he sent Mark Conway off. Steve Eller then has the kick for touch, finds touch and puts pressure back on Featherstone Rovers. Trinity leading by 10 points to 8. Billy Conway wants a football to play with. Plays the ball. John Thompson in possession. Drives the ball towards the Featherstone Rovers 25. Billy Conway makes a good 10 yards there. Looks for support. Mark Conway's there. Turns, jinks, swivels, looks inside. Good tackle from Paul Hughes, but the pressure back on Featherstone Rovers. Mark Conway in possession, plays the ball to Andy Wilson. Andy always looking for the half chance, makes good ground there from acting halfback. Look at the support behind the post for Trinity, urging the men on. Mark Conway to John Thompson. He stretches out of the tackle. It's a try. It's his first try, in fact, in almost 2 years in first team football, and look at the delight on John Thompson's face. Throws the ball into the air. What an absolutely vital try for Wakefield Trinity that one is. 14-10 now the margin. 6 points the difference, a try and a goal. But John Thompson back in first team football, absolutely elated by that try. The third try of the game for Trinity, and that could be the crucial one. In fact, I'm sure it would be. 14-8 now for Wakefield Trinity, with Steve Eller with a chance here to make it 16 points to 8. But that came off the pass of Mark Conway, Johnny Thompson doing enough to stretch out of a 2-3 man tackle and just get the touchdown. And that could absolutely change the course of Wakefield Trinity's season. Time will tell. 10 minutes remaining plus injury time, but they look to be in the driving seat now against a side which did the double over them last season. Steve Ella, right-footed, comes up and slices the ball wide, so still 14-8. They could have done with a conversion, could Trinity, but certainly the try is good enough because they lead by 6 points now, and Featherstone must score a try and a goal to get back on even terms. And the way Wakefield Trinity have defended in this contest, I can't see Featherstone getting a second try. Derek Fox with the kick-off. Featherstone will be bitterly disappointed to be dragged back into the relegation zone if they lose this one. Nigel Bell in possession for Trinity. Brings the ball up. Tackled by Carl Harrison. Nigel Bell plays the ball now to Billy Conway. Paul Malinder was there. Couldn't get the pass out of the tackle, but Conway tackle, plays the ball to Steve Norton. Short pass to John Thompson. He'll be 10 feet tall now after that try. His last try was against Salford in January 1987. Ian Sheldon in possession. Tackled by Derek Fox. Will lose his possession at the play of the ball, Ian Sheldon. These are mistakes that Trinity could well do with cutting out, because it makes life so much easier when you're keeping the pressure on the opposition. Now Rovers have the chance to get the ball back from this scrum. 8 minutes plus injury time between Trinity and their first league win in 3 months. Chris Bibb comes into the line. He's tackled by Andy Sygrove, the substitute for Phil Eden. Plays the ball, does Chris Bibb quickly to Stedman, tackled by Ella. Derek Fox, short pass this time to David Sykes, the substitute for Rovers. He's come on for John Bastian. He can play a wing, he can also play in the pack. Trevor Clark to Gratian, he must be getting tired. Peter Smith, Derek Fox, Trevor Clark looks for the half gap, looks for the pass on the inside, but loses possession. It goes backwards. Paul Lyman picks it up. Referee, he's spotted something and gives a scrum down. 7 minutes to go. Wakefield Trinity counting down the minutes here. Steve Norton, as you can see, using all his experience to take his time to get to that scrum, wasting a few precious seconds as Mark Conway feeds the scrum and possession comes out to Wakefield Trinity. Nigel Bell to Andy Wilson. Every player in this Wakefield side's done his job this afternoon to put them in this position. Johnny Thompson. Tremendous comeback. Of course he played at Widnes, but I don't think he was fully prepared for that one. This time I think he was. Psyching himself up for this game. Ian Sheldon. Loose passing again from Trinity. Losing possession needlessly, keeping the pressure on themselves. Peter Smith now to Derek Fox, on to Trevor Clark, who I think switched to centre. Now it's Paul Lyman. And obviously Featherstone Rovers with a shortage of quality backs, with Paul Lyman playing in the centre, normally a loose forward, and Trevor Clark also appearing to have moved out there. Derek Fox in possession, short pass this time to Paul Hughes. He's tackled by Steve Norton. About 10-12 yards from the Wakefield Trinity line. Trinity hanging on here, 14 points to 8 the lead. Jeff Gratian with the grubber kick towards the line. Andy Fletcher fields the ball. He'll be tackled by Graham Stedman, and there'll be a drop out here beneath the Trinity uprights. 6 minutes plus injury time. Standing between Trinity and two absolutely precious league points. Just 3 wins and a draw before this afternoon's fixture. Ella with the drop kick. It's a good one. It almost reaches the halfway. It's fielded by David Sykes, who slips and then comes forward. He'll be tackled by Nigel Bell. Trevor Clark to Jeff Gratian. Looks for support. Trying to get a pass away. It's a bad pass actually. It's lost possession in fact. And the ball's picked up by James Luluai. Jeff Gratian absolutely fuming because there was no support there, but he still didn't need to force the pass, which he did. And so it's Trinity now through Paul Malinder. Tackle there by Derek Fox. Johnny Thompson, another hefty tackle coming in from Jeff Gratian. These two have been at it all afternoon. And the penalty goes to Wakefield Trinity. Quite right too. And Jeff Gratian, after flooring John Thompson, gives him a lift back up. So Steve Eller will kick for touch rather than for goal. Keep the pressure on Featherstone, waste some more time. Billy Conway then with a tap penalty, plays it to Paul Malinder up towards the 25 where he'll be tackled. Time ticking by for Featherstone Rovers. This would be a bad defeat for them. Mark Conway working a move with Steve Norton. Penalty given against Trinity and a further 10 yards there for descent. Stedman then hurrying his kick for touch because they really need to get points on the board, and they've got to throw caution to the wind now because they trail by 6 points. Wakefield Trinity must be really thinking now in terms of having won the 2 points here and then looking to New Year's Day to make it a double and really get themselves out of the danger area in Division 1. But it's not over yet. Derek Fox in possession for Rovers. Tackle by Paul Malinder. Sterling game by the put forward. Peter Smith, a dummy there from David Sykes, and he gets the pass away to Chris Bibb. Johnny Thompson's making the tackle. Steve Eller's there too. Stedman in possession. The pass to Gratian. Short pass looked forward to me, but the referee said no. Play on. 10 yards from the Wakefield Trinity line now. Featherstone looking for the score, which would put them back in this contest. Stedman jinks and weaves 2-3 yards from the Wakefield Trinity line now. The tackler was Andy Sygrove. Still Rovers. Trevor Clark lunging for the line, but the men in numbers are there for Trinity. Fifth tackle for Rovers. Clark tries to force his way over from the play of the ball, and in fact it's Trinity possession through Nigel Bell. Steve Norton well offside against Featherstone Rovers. That's a lifeline for Wakefield Trinity. Time ticking by, about 3 minutes plus injury time, and Wakefield Trinity leading Featherstone Rovers here at Post Office Road by 14 points to 8. Paul Malinder in possession. He's not shirked anything all afternoon, the ex-Bradford Northern man, and this is a good run down the short side from Nigel Bell. Billy Conway to John Thompson. Johnny Thompson, the try scorer, the crucial try scorer. With that third Trinity try, one or two people beginning to drift out of this ground, but not many, because there's still everything to play for as Steve Norton has possession, getting the pass away to Ian Sheldon. He plays the ball now to Mark Conway, on to Steve Norton, the inside ball to Steve Eller. This is Eller on the burst, going through, tackle by Trevor Clark, but gets the pass away to Billy Conway. Chance here for Trinity, they might think about a drop kick here. Mark Conway, he's going to try one. It's a drop kick by Mark Conway, and it's there, and you can see the delight on the faces of the Wakefield Trinity contingent. It's a drop goal from Mark Conway, and Trinity now lead by 15 points to 8. That's the vital 7-point margin. That's the difference between victory and defeat, because Featherstone now can score a try and a goal and they'll still not be in front. An absolutely precious drop goal there from Mark Conway. It's only his second, I think, of the season. It might even be his first. No, yes it is. I think it's his first drop goal of the season. Mark Conway kicked one last season. But that's an absolutely vital score for Trinity as Andy Mason comes forward now. Time ticking by, but it's certainly gone for Featherstone Rovers, who must now be thinking about the daunting task facing them at Bellevue on New Year's Day. Mark Conway to Steve Norton. On to Billy Conway. 15-8 the scoreline. Wakefield Trinity fans delirious. Conway's trying another one, is he? No, he's just putting a big kick downfield, keeping Rovers under pressure. Well, there's some frustration out there in the Featherstone ranks, but there must be absolute delight in the Trinity ranks as Jeff Gratian comes forward again. Can't understand this Featherstone policy with men like Alan Banks and Stedman in the back division and Chris Bibb. They're certainly throwing caution to the wind. It's Steve Ella there with the tackle on David Sykes. Clark to Fox, back inside to Peter Smith. This is David Sykes again for Rovers. Good football this. Bastian gets the pass away this time to Alan Banks. Out it comes to the left winger Paul Newell. A great cover tackle coming in from Mark Conway there. Superb cover from the scrum half. Almost Steve Mortimer at his best as he came across. Copybook tackle around the ankles. Saved the day for Trinity. And with time almost up, in fact we're into injury time now, Wakefield Trinity look set for 2 points. And the Rovers appear to have got the penalty at this scrum. They have a quick tap penalty. Trevor Clark on to Derek Fox, to Stedman, looking for the gap. Still going forward, but some other tackle coming in from Andy Mason finally. Peter Smith in possession. On to Carl Harrison. What can Rovers do here? Trailing by 7 points. Harrison again to Derek Fox. Out it comes open side to Smith. Out to centre Paul Lyman. Plays the ball quickly. It comes now to the wingman, Ian Smales. And it's Derek Fox in possession now. Out it comes again. Stedman in possession. He's spotted the gap. It must be a chance here for Featherstone Rovers. Consolation, possibly. But a try all the same for Graham Stedman. Just beating the late attempt to stopping there from Billy Conway. But I don't think it'll matter. I think it's just purely academic. Featherstone Rovers making the scoreline 12 points to 15. Stedman has the chance to further reduce the arrears, but time is almost up. 3 minutes into injury time, Graham Stedman gets Rovers' second try, but I think it's too late. And in fact, he kicks the goal as well from a position in which he missed one earlier. So 14-15 now. It all depends on injury time. But it just shows the value of that drop kick from Mark Conway. It's certainly made all the difference, as Trinity, not surprisingly, in no hurry at all to take this kick off. The timekeeper's obviously looking at the watches. Everybody in the crowd is doing exactly the same. And Steve Ella is just biding his time. Trinity 15, Featherstone Rovers 14. Ella with the kick-off then. It needs something sensational to save this game now for Rovers. Lyman tries the kick over the top. It goes into touch. Or does it? Yes, it does. And so there'll be a scrum down. Can't understand why Paul Lyman didn't kick deeper. It's Trinity's head and ball at this scrum. And they get possession. Mark Conway. Open side it comes to Steve Ella. He's just going to play possession football here. Does well, he beats one defender. Still going forward. Tackled by Peter Smith. And still Trinity hanging on here. 15 points to 14 they lead. Steve Ella plays the ball to Nigel Bell. It comes open side to Paul Malinder. Just taking the tackles, playing for time. In fact, there's the hooter, the arms race, tell you the story. 15 points to 14. Featherstone Rovers have been beaten, having led 2 points to 0 at half-time. A penalty goal from Graham Stedman was all that stood between the sides at half-time, despite the fact that Mark Conway went through.
Featherstone Rovers team just been led onto the field here by that little mascot. Number 1 Chris Bibb, number 2 Paul Newell, number 3 Paul Lyman, number 4 Alan Banks, number 5 Ian Smales, number 6 Graham Stedman, number 7 Derek Fox, number 8 Jeff Grayson, number 9 Trevor Clark, number 10 Carl Harrison, number 11 Glenn Booth, number 12 Paul Hughes, number 13 Peter Smith, and 14 Dave Sykes, and 15 Gary Siddall. And the Wakefield Trinity side being led on the field here